This Panthers Corner is brought to you by Below the Whistle Sports. What's up, Cali Cat Pack? What's up, Angel City Riot? What's up, Roaring Riot? We back up in the building, and we here at our spot, right down the street, on the corner, our corner, Panthers Corner. And I'm happy to be here. I'm happy you guys. Um, Dan Morgan is out here making the moves. It's smoking out here. It's smoking, and we want to hear what you guys got to say. We want to hear what you guys are thinking, and how you feel. Let us know. Drop them in those comments below. But we about to get into this. But before I get into this, I want to introduce you to a guy that you can catch on Blow the Whistle Sports. He's one of the co-hosts, and his name is Patrick Nagel. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. It's March 13th, and I'm so excited for football, and I got to wait, 6 months. But I am fired up. We are going to get into it, and I can't wait to do it. This is going to be a lot of fun.
It's our time to shine. This is our put up or shut up year. And like I said in the intro, Dan Morgan.
He's
What
cooking.
what a person. Our Panthers have never done this. I think the best trade we ever did was Greg Olsen. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think that was probably one of the greatest trades. I mean, we basically got him for nothing, and he put up arguably a Hall of Fame career. So that was a great move. I mean, we've had good moves and good stuff in the past, but I think what makes this year different, here we are, 4 or 5 days into free agency, and if you would have drawn up on a list on a blackboard, the needs of the team, right? We
Man,
needed linebacker help. We
check.
signed Devin Lloyd, the number one, off ball linebacker in free agency. We need pass rush help.
Check.
Boom. We signed Jalen Phillips, another one, number one defensive guy who also is great against the run. Hey, we need a starter at left tackle while Iki's out
Oh,
today.
oh,
We signed Rasheed Walker, the
check.
number one left tackle in free agency. You can go down the list, and we got some depth guys. We got a center in case we can't get a center in the draft. But what he's really done is he set us up for the draft, as we don't have to. We can do whatever we need to. We can trade back. We can take the best player available. We can do whatever we can to make our team better. But
Because they've already made the key accusations that we needed.
absolutely, I can't think of a team that's had a better off season so far. Obviously I'm biased, but when you look at making your team better and filling weaknesses with the best available free agents, Dan did that in spades. And like I don't know if you would have drawn it up on the board before free agency started that you could have imagined that we would walk away with what we have so far. And there's a sleeper in there too that I'm going to throw out there, and that's we signed a wide receiver by the name of John Mechke, and he was Bryce's go-to guy in
Yes.
Alabama.
Yes.
And he got drafted in the second round in the Texans, and then he missed a season and a half because he was diagnosed with leukemia.
Right.
And he came back. He played okay. He then got kind of bounced around for a couple of years. I think maybe just maybe if
This
he's
might be home.
if he's healthy, he might be home and linking back with Bryce and feel comfortable. That just gives
Yeah.
us another
Like
weapon, but another
a feel good that like feel good food for Bryce.
yeah, but also
Something
just
he's
another
used to.
signing that high upside, no real downside, right? I mean, if he doesn't work out, we didn't invest in anything, but what a I mean, come on, what a steal. I mean, we can go through them one by one, but I'm blown away, and I think this is
Besides
probably
this year, I'm anxious to hear who did you think was better or not better, but was a good another good accusation that we got in the past? Because man, we've made so many non-moves in the past where I expected us to do something and we made no splash. This is like a team that wants to win now. I feel
yeah.
exhilarated by the moves.
I'm racking my brain about past free agents, and there are some. I mean, you got to go back a ways though. I would. I mean, let's not forget we had Kevin Green and
Okay.
Lloyd,
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
outside. Those were pretty good signings. I mean, we're
Right,
going back
right, right.
20 plus years.
It's just
Uh,
been so long, I guess.
yeah,
It's been such a drought that
but
where Greg Olsen is the only shiny spot that I see that's not that far away, but far away, you know?
But I know it's not sexy and it doesn't get talked about a lot, but I thought Dan's off season 2 years ago when he brought in the two guards, right? And we paid a lot of money for Robert Hunt
Right.
and for the other guard, and those guys have turned out to be great acquisitions. Not sexy, but they put a lot of money into the two guard positions, and it's paid off in fruitfulness. And so I think if you look at Dan in total, when you look at his 2 years coming into his third draft here, he has a lot of hits, not a lot of misses, and the free agents that we have gotten have been contributors.
Mhm.
And you look at what we just did this year, and I think we improved our team on paper by leaps and bounds. Obviously, those guys got to perform and deliver, but I don't see any reason why they wouldn't. But we got a guy in his prime at a defensive end who this is the stat that blew me away. And
Huh.
I'm like, because there was some talk of, the Panthers overpaid, but
Well,
Jalen Phillips,
I hear what you're saying about him, and before you go really hard on him, those type of signings make me nervous. Now, I
didn't
understand his track record, but he had 2 major injuries,
he did he
and
did
those type of things, from being somebody who's had reconstructive surgery twice, and I understand when I had my reconstructive surgery, that was while ago, and that surgery was different, and the surgery now is so much better because as we seen from our team, we had a guy as a linebacker, Thomas Davis, who had about 4 or 5 of the same surgery, and came back at a high level each and
Yeah,
every time. So, I understand that part, but when it's an Achilles and a knee,
yep.
and we paid that much money, that's where I think you're getting the pushback on when it comes to
Listen,
we paid too much for him. Now, if he pans out, and I'm a Panther fan, so I want him to pan out, but that's just something I'm watching. I that's like a hope right now. That's just the hope
I,
that he holds it together for the whole season. Because
look,
as you see, we put a lot of money into that offensive line last season, and every game we had a different front line.
right.
I
Well,
want Bryce to be protected under that front line.
let
I
me
want him to like the teams that when we played them, their quarterback got this rest in the back,
yeah.
take his time and go through progressions twice, then get the ball out. I want Bryce to have some time so we can truly critique Bryce instead of people hating on Bryce when he has no time to pass. But I'm stoked about him. I'm not down on. So I don't want you to think that you're coming down to. I want everybody to be open and see what's going on.
I don't
But
think you're coming down, but let me see if I can ease your concerns a little bit.
please, please.
He played all 17 games last season between the Dolphins and the Eagles. So he played a full season, didn't miss, so I think he's got that stuff in the rearview mirror. But the stat that really blew me away as a team, because a lot of people were saying online were upset that Jalen Phillips only had 5.5 sacks last year. How can we give somebody that kind of money that only had 5 sacks? So the Carolina Panthers in 2025 had 81 quarterback pressures. 81 quarterback pressures. Jay, Jalen Phillips had 60 by himself. 60. So to
Okay.
me, I'm like, okay, maybe he didn't get there, but he disrupted the play. He single-handedly almost matched our entire season.
Wow.
So and then when you if you get if you really want to geek out and get into the PFL win rates and all these things, he's the third highest win rate player at his position, meaning he beats the block at the third highest rate of any player at the position. So all those things were encouraging to me. Also, the fact that he's an every down player and he is great against the run as well as the pass.
Yes,
And
we
now
need
we
that.
can partner him up with Nick Scorton and Princely, and all of a sudden we have a solid rotational player there. And I think that only is going to make Nick Scorton better because now he's not going to be getting double teamed. It's going to make Derek Brown better because he's not going to always be facing the double team up the middle. So I think that's a solid addition. When you add Devin Lloyd to that mix, playing the off-ball
Yeah.
linebacker in the 4-3 behind Phillips. Now all of a sudden, that's a lot of tremendous pressure on to bear on you, and and we suddenly have a defense that is going to put a lot more fear in your heart. And
You
Lloyd,
did it. You did it. It just that statement. Yeah, and see, I knew exactly what you just said, but stats to me, I sometimes people are they get a lot of stats and then it doesn't show up in certain games, but that major stat, you made me feel a lot better with that 60, that 60 by himself.
that's insane, right? I mean,
And
you
that's
could,
after all the damage has been put on his
yeah,
body, after all the surgery. So, yeah.
he
Yeah.
he looks great. Devin Lloyd had, there were three players that tied for the NFL lead in interceptions last year.
Right.
Devin Lloyd, and then there's another guy who happened to be on our team, J.C. Horn, also
Yes.
5 interceptions. So we a ball hawking linebacker who can play off ball. I think that really took a lot of pressure. I mean, we talked during the season about our lack of pressure,
Well, yes.
well,
Tired of
all of
it.
a sudden that's changed, and
Yeah.
now our linebacking core, all of a sudden that's changed, and improved, and we look better there, right? I mean,
Yes.
so all like some of our fears go away. We've talked about Evero and how he stacks up, and should we get rid of him or should we not get rid of him? But this is, you said it earlier. This is
Now he has complete defense,
yeah,
so we can make that evaluation even better now.
yeah, it's put up or
Before,
shut
it
up.
was kinda hard to put that squarely on his shoulders, knowing that he was dealing with some limitations. But
Absolutely.
now we have a souped up defense. We should see a difference. We don't wanna see some of the same old, same old. We should see a progression drastically in the defensive
I
section.
couldn't agree more. And I was talking to my wife, who isn't the world's greatest knowledgeable of football, but she does get excited. And the big difference for me is we took the lead with 2 minutes and 30 seconds against the Rams. And
Yes.
then the Rams marched down the field, but Matthew Stafford had all day to throw. It what could have been a different outcome if we get him off time. I mean, even if we don't get him on the ground, get him to throw early, get him to throw before the readers are out
Rush
of the
his
break.
pass, rush
Yeah,
it.
all those things
Make him
change.
uneasy like we did the first game.
Correct. All those things suddenly change, and maybe, just maybe, we win that game instead of losing that game. And
Yes.
so for me, I those two obviously are the highlights. However, we needed a starting left guard or left tackle because we don't know how long Icky's going to be out, having the ruptured tendon
Yeah.
and in the playoff game. So he might miss half or more of the season. Well, now we have a left tackle, a young left tackle,
A stout
26,
left tackle. Stout.
20
He's good.
26 years old. If you look at statistics and PFL ratings, he grades out actually better than Icky,
Mhm.
because he's a much better pass blocker. He's not as good as a run blocker, but we don't run outside anyways. We run more between the tackles. That's more our style and whatnot. But I think we have a plug and play tackle. We got a center. He's not, he's a journeyman center, but he also is young. He started the last 2 seasons in New Orleans. So we've addressed all of our needs. And now if we get a better player in the draft, awesome. But there's competition at all the things. And again, if you just sit back and say, what do we need? Check, 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 check. And by the way, not just check, we didn't just get a guy. We
Right.
got the top ranked guy. If you believe in the ESPN top 100 rankings or the Bleacher Report top 100 rankings,
Yeah.
if you buy into that, well, we got 4 guys in free agency that are in the top 52.
Okay. Now we've touched a lot on our defense and
Yes.
how we've upgraded. Now moving to the offense a little more with the um well, not moving, just moving to the offense. I really wanted to ask you this question about Rico Dotto. How did you
Yeah.
feel about losing him, and how did you feel about our team depending on our rookie guy that to be a sound backup for Chuba Hubbard after all the work Rico put in over here, and Jonathan came in and got hurt immediately, re-injured his that same injury, which I was another thing I was thinking about. What
Yeah.
on top of the player that we picked up that had the Achilles problem and the knee problem, we have a player on the team, Jonathan, and not to be a person, not and I hate to, but I have to bring it up because it's something we have to think about.
Sure.
I believe the money that Rico got paid wasn't drastic enough for us to, and I believe he would have worked with us. I don't think he wanted to go anywhere. I would have just liked to see all three of those running backs to know that we were just sound at running back also. Even though I believe ETN and Jonathan, you tell me how you feel about it, because
I'm not as high on Rico Dowdle. Uh,
oh, okay.
you know, I- what I saw was, when he was fresh and he got in there,
Mhm.
he no doubt had two or three just amazing games back to back to back.
Right.
He really he was hot. But I think as the season went on and as he got beat up and banged up as running backs do, I think he was a step behind and slow. And I didn't like a lot of his body language, on the side, and it looked to me like he was getting upset that he was in a platoon situation with Hubbard.
It
Um,
looked like he was upset. Never voiced a
no, no, no,
bad
no,
opinion and always was positive
not
positive,
publicly, not publicly.
right?
I don't know anything. I never heard anything. I'm
But
just
it looked
saying,
like it to me also.
I don't. I think you have to look at it and say, why didn't Dallas keep him?
Mm.
Why did we not keep him?
Well,
Uh,
uh, don't bring, because Dallas to me is a consumer team. They only want to bring names in that's going to sell jerseys to make money. They're not a team that's really competing. That's in my opinion, but that's for another show.
yeah.
But
I,
Dallas went
so,
so
but
Dallas makes bad decisions all the time.
I don't.
Carolina's been making good decisions, and Rico, I understand. I understand your feeling from the point of view of how you said his body language was, and
I don't know. Listen. I mean, obviously, we're not in the locker room. We don't know all the ins and outs of everything. But
right.
for me, I think they have a lot of belief in Jonathan that he's going to bounce. Jonathan Brooks is going to bounce back and be a player.
He was a
Um,
beast in
and
in school.
from what I'm reading and what everyone's saying, he looks pretty amazing. In practice, obviously not in pads, but there was, had they not put him on injured reserve at the beginning of the season, he could have been ready to go by the midpoint. But we took a slow and a steady approach.
I'm glad for that. I'm
I
glad for that.
me too. I like Travis Etienne as our third down back or a third string back if needed be. But we don't know what they're going to do in the draft, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if in the third or fourth round there's some decent running backs in there that have a more of a pounder skill set than Rico. He's not a
Right.
pounder, and Rico Dowdle was more of a pounder. So I wouldn't be surprised if we don't take a player like that in the draft
Mm.
to round out the locker room. But
At what pick you believe?
I think third or fourth round, I think would
Okay,
be
okay, okay.
appropriate. I mean, in the first round, I have my wish list. I've been pretty vocal
T
about
t
it.
Tell me your wish list.
My first, if we can get the tight end out of Oregon, Sadiq, I would be over the moon. He is a physical
Mm.
specimen. He's a he would be but I think he's a much better player than Pitts. I think he would fit in and give Bryce. He's a
Do you think he'll
244
still be
5
there?
man, and he ran a 4.39 in the combine behind Kenyon Sadiq. I think he would be
Do
fit
you
in
think he'll be
wonderful.
there when we pick? 'Cause that the player you're talking about is a great player, and we picked pretty far down.
We do. We pick at 19.
Yeah.
I think there's a chance. I mean, I
Mm.
don't think it's I think unfortunately his combine was so impressive that
Yes.
he may have
Open some
positioned
other
himself
eyes.
outside of our reach, but I mean, but I also think there are other teams ahead of us that have other needs that they feel they may need to address. I think
Mhm.
there's a chance. I hope. And then if we can pick up like there's a couple like the Penn State running back Allen, he'd be a good fit. The kid from Indiana would be a good fit in the third or fourth round to round out our thing. But I mean, I'm happy for Rico. He got a 2-year deal in Pittsburgh.
Now,
Good,
if
good
Rico
for you.
goes to Pittsburgh and his first year, he he's the every down back, and he busts over 1,000 yards, do you think we should have kept him? Or you're okay and you're at peace with it?
No, not listen. If we didn't do what we did in the offseason with our money,
Right,
and go and get Lloyd and Phillips and Walker
right.
and the other the starting center, I may have felt a different way, but there's we don't have unlimited money, and
This is true. This is true.
so I have to look at it from a totality standpoint and not just
Yeah,
say, oh, we should have kept that guy. Sure, if he goes off and has 1,000 yards, but I mean, he's also going to split time there, and how is that going to
yeah.
work?
But without doubt, we are fine.
Yeah,
We were fine with Chuba Hubbard.
yeah,
That's our guy.
I mean, I don't share people's sorrow about, him leaving. I would have been fine if we brought him back, but I think he wanted a commitment to start, and I don't think
Yeah.
he's not going to be that guy here. I mean, he's going to
Mm,
split time with Hubbard. Hubbard's a good player. I mean, you could tell as the season went on that he was getting stronger and stronger and feeling better, and he was starting to perform better. Listen, I think you have to reward the guys that have been here, and he's definitely, from
and
all
that's definitely
he's
the
a
way
leader.
they were thinking
Yeah,
because I seen Rico's carries, dwindle and Chuba carries, grow. So that was the thinking that Dan and everybody
yeah.
had and company had in mind.
But I'm happy for him. Good for you, buddy. You got
Yeah,
your money, you got your 2-year deal. I wish you nothing but love. I appreciate everything you did for us. You were a beast,
yeah.
and but
He was a bright spot
it's a
at a dark
business.
moment.
It's a business, and and we have to look at our money and be careful how we allocate it. And based on what we've done, I wouldn't change a thing. I would not
Hey,
have brought him back.
I'm proud of Dan Morgan. I'm proud of Temper for making these decisions and staying out of football business, handling the
Absolutely.
business behind the scenes like a true team owner should, you know? Because in years before, he's done a little too much,
I
and
agree.
now I feel like he's settled in and he understands the job and he's completing the assignment. Now, with that being said,
Go ahead.
our offense, wide receivers,
Yes.
what's your starting lineup?
I think you have to. I mean, obviously, it's T Mac and Coker.
Oh,
Obviously,
oh,
are the
definitely.
starting two. If you're going to go in a 3 wide receiver set, I'm curious to see how Horn progresses from year 1 to year 2. I
Right.
give we could look at Mesky, the guy we just signed. He might be a candidate for that third spot.
With
We
the
so
familiarity with him and
yeah,
Bryce, I would think that would be the most likely
it
situation
could.
right there, just to see if it's still there.
I'm not ready to write off Xavier either. Excel. I mean, he could, if he comes back and has a great camp and rights some of his wrongs and gets his head straight or whatever is going on with him. So I think we have some options there, and
Right.
maybe we can run some 4 receiver sets at times to open it up.
Yes.
Um,
5 wide.
yes,
We
and
haven't seen
really,
that in a long time.
hey, if we have Kenyon Sadiq, we could run 5 wide and
Ooh.
put him on a safety, and that's a problem. So I think we have a good solid wide receiver room. I think we have, we go 4 deep that I think are pretty good, and
Yeah.
then we'll see what we have with the rest of it.
Yes. I can't wait to see Bryce pick people apart so the Bryce haters can eat they words. Eat your words, Bryce haters.
Yes, please. I think he's gonna have a great season. I think the
I do too.
confidence and I think the play calling shift I think is going to help. I really do. I think there was some. I think that'll calm things down, and he and Brad can really work together in the offseason, and Dave doesn't have to split his focus between the rest of the team. I think that's going to improve things. If we add a weapon, like there's a couple other tight ends that potentially could help our tight end situation
Right.
that we could get later in the draft if we don't get Sadiq. But I just feel like if we add that weapon and there's some really high quality centers in this draft that maybe we
Yeah.
look at in the second or third round. I just feel like we have a lot of options available to us to make our team better on the offensive side of the ball. We've done a lot of work on the defensive side of the ball. We're really set up to pick that best player available and add depth and add competition. I'm excited for all that. I feel like we're really doing well. And you said something earlier that we were proud of Mr. Tepper, and I think he put his trust in Brant Tillis and Dan Morgan, and I
Yes.
think they've paid that off in spades. And I think it's very easy now to step out of the way and let them do it because they've really been successful. And you have to look at the way we manage our money. You have to look
Yes.
at the free agents that we brought in the last couple of seasons and the draft
Yes.
picks we had the last couple of seasons. And when you start adding all those things together, you look at it and say, hey, these two dudes know what they're doing, and I'm going to let them cook, and they are paying it off and giving us a gourmet meal. And
Carolina is finally moving and grooving, and we are on the scene.
we back, baby. We back.
Yes, yes. Something to be proud about again.
Well, hey, when the
Bring your head up high.
national media is gassing us up, saying the Panthers are for real, they ain't playing. Pat McAfee and all the different things are saying, I love the moves that they're making, and we have to be in the conversation for most improved team through free
Yeah.
agency. You go on and have a solid draft after this. I mean, heck, I would be fine if we traded back. If we don't like what we have in 19, trade back, collect more picks,
Right.
bring more depth on our team. At the end of the day, man, I think we have something to be proud of. Obviously, these players have to live up to their contracts and live up to their reputations.
Yes.
But we're here, man, and I don't know that. I just don't know that we could have drawn up a better scenario for our team to improve us. And the fans, they need to sit back and accept and appreciate everything that's happening, because we've had the bleak
Most
years,
definitely.
and now look at us now.
Hush your mouth and believe in your team.
Yes.
Panther Nation, please drop them in the comments. Let us know how y'all feel about everything that we've talked about. And if you think of something that we didn't talk about, drop them in those comments. We want to see it. We will reply to it. And on the next Panthers Corner, we will talk about some of those questions. We'll pick about 3 or 4 questions from all the questions that have been put to us, and we'll talk about it. And plus, we'll talk about the new hot stuff, what's going on in Carolina. This is a safe space for everybody who's a diehard Carolina fan. And if you're not even a Carolina fan, you can watch too. We're okay. We're okay. And you can drop your comment, even though it's not going to matter because this is all about Carolina. But please like, subscribe, and share. Let us know how you feel. We'll see you next time on Panthers Corner. Patrick, thank you once again. As always, you've been well informative, and I love hearing, because you're on the same page as me. And sometimes I get tongue tied because I'm so energetic about our team, so enthusiastic about our team, that sometimes you just put it in better words than I was like, yeah, Patrick, that's exactly what I was trying to say. Thank you,
Thanks,
sir.
I
Thank you for your
appreciate that.
time.
I'm happy to be here.
We'll see y'all. And like always, how we like to end Panthers Corner, what we do, Patrick?
Oh, we keep pounding, baby. We
Yes,
keep
keep
pounding.
pounding. See y'all.